in this video I'm going to reassemble my ResMed AirSense 10 CPAP, not BiPAP, but CPAP. And I'm going to reassemble it and talk about all the things I learned as I start getting parts for it. So they've come out with an AirSense 11. So back in the day, which turns out to be January 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, it's 4 years old, almost to the day at the time of this video. And I use it every night, you know, anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, rarely 8. And I didn't look at the hours before I started the video, but you know, the motor is probably going to start needing to be replaced. You'll get a warning sign, and but I think you can reset that. I'm going to look at the reset menu in this video and see if I can reset the motor, because you can buy motors. They're like $90. So let me show you. I paid $500 for this machine. I think it's my third machine. Anyway, so I paid $500 and I thought, oh well, how much is the replacement? And a replacement was $758, and I thought, oh geez almighty, man, that's expensive. And then you can get this one here for $808. I really didn't dig into too much what the difference was, whether it's like CPAP, BiPAP or something. I don't know. I don't really care. But anyway, the new one, the 11, claims to have a retail price of $22.50. But you can just pay $1,000 and get one. Well, $1,000 for something that I shouldn't be using anyway, because I need to just get this belly off of me and get off the CPAP machine completely. I couldn't do it. So I ended up searching around beyond the website where I purchased the machine, and I started finding parts for it. So this was all new to me, because where I purchased the machine, they didn't have parts. I mean, I could get a reservoir or whatever, but you know, that's about it. Filters, you know, little filters or something. So anyway, so I purchased a new reservoir, and then I found this thing. It's a side cover that eliminates the reservoir, because I never used it. This is the original one, 4 years old. You can see it's discolored, especially when you compare it to the new one, kind of yellowed. And that's without ever using the heater, because this CPAP machine, you can turn off the current to the heating pad, and the heater will never warm the water up for you. So I found a replacement. Now this replacement has a magnet in it, and I started to look, because it's made for like 4 or 5 different machines, and when I looked at the website, they show it without the magnet. All the pictures they have of it doesn't have this magnet in there. And since I don't have all of the other machines, I don't know if the other machines require a magnet, so I'm just going to take this guy out. Kind of saw it the last minute before I did this video, so it's a magnet. No, it's not the screwdriver, it's this magnet. Okay, I didn't damage it. I just took the screwdriver and pushed it out, and it popped right onto the magnet here. So I've got that off, because my original reservoir here doesn't have a magnet on it. So actually, and I'm worried that, since I know there's an electronic panel right here, I don't want a magnet to mess up or interfere with the flow of electrons, let's say. Alright, so my new side cover just snaps right on. Just press it down to remove it. I guess if you ever need to clean it, I don't know why. And there is my machine back together. Now for the filter on this side, I decided to change it up. You can buy these pads, by the bazillions on Amazon, I change them out quite often. And to get this panel off, you can see that there's just a couple of tabs on here. Oh, that one was hidden. So let's see. Got a tab on the end and a tab right there. And on the machine, if you flip it up, you see they go in from the bottom here. Got one here, and we got one here. And again, I just took my little screwdriver and I just gently pried those out because I didn't want to break it. You can buy a new one if you do break it, but I didn't want to break it because I thought, well, if I ever want to reuse it or go back to it, if I don't like the replacement, then I can just snap it in place, no problem. So I said I was going to replace it. What am I going to replace it with? Well, I'm going to replace it with a 3D printed part that uses 3M respirator filters. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. So I saw in the review someone complained that it was, 3D printed, which I think that's great. I don't know why the heck someone is complaining about that. But you just, put that right in place, no big deal. And then you just snap your filter on there. Let's see if I came with, yeah, see, I don't know if it came with 3M filters. Yeah, 3M filters say 3M on it, and the filters it came with are not 3M filters, so that's why it was not as expensive. So anyway, so I don't worry about an entrepreneur making a little bit of money there, and we will just snap that on. Alright, the 3M filter does have a date on it, which is the middle of the year of the 2027. So there's that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll probably use these cheapy ones too. I mean, it's not like I'm going to toss them or anything. I'm sure I'll consume them. But I actually do prefer 3M. Their quality control is good, actually. Alright, let me get this on. Let's see if you can see black on black. See how it has those tabs there. And they are not the same width. So when you put them on, you see there's a short one and two long ones, so you need to line it up correctly. Let me line it up correctly. Just pretend you're using your x-ray vision there. There we go. And then you just do a little 1/16 turn, you make sure your filter is on there good and tight here, because it's just force fit, a little bit of friction resistance. And there is my new CPAP machine that I'm going to use. Hose goes here, and we are going to turn it on. And also, as a bonus, I'm going to show you how to get to the sub menu. You can actually change the settings. Now, I think I was diagnosed with 11 and I told him 12. I told my doctor 12 when I rewrote the prescription, because I didn't go back to the CPAP doctor that originally wrote it some whole bunch of years ago. Went to my regular doctor and he gave me a prescription so I could order it online, a replacement machine. And I told him 12. So it's very, very low for me. 11, 12, that's hardly nothing. And I forgot what the units are. It's for Doing math and being a mechanical engineer all my life, the units are really strange to me. I think it's like centimeters per water weight, or let me see if I can look that. So it's in centimeters of water pressure, and typically it runs from 4 to 20, so I'm like in the middle. And then, you know, if you start getting over 20 centimeters of water pressure, you know, you probably start getting into BiPAP instead of CPAP. So anyway, where I think CPAP is constant pressure and BiPAP is where, you know, the pressure's so high it's got to relieve itself so that you can exhale. All right, so that is that. So I'll get my fingers all on it to insert it. But anyway, when you insert it, what you want to notice is that it's flat right here. It's not round, 360 around, and you need that to line up right here. It's keyed, so you can't put it in unless it's just so. So you get that lined up. Then you make sure it's flat. Can the camera get in there? Make sure it's flat on the ends there. And then you click it in place. Alright, I was having a little trouble on camera getting it all in there where it needs to go. Those two tabs on the top and the bottom were hitting. They wouldn't go in. You know, it was all crooked and everything. So what I found out was you actually need to tilt it at an angle like this to get it started, crushing your new seal. And then once it's over the tabs, you can just push it right in with your finger, and we're in, problem solved. Now this guy over here, man, if you lose that seal, you're in big trouble. That is extremely difficult to find. I did find it on a website somewhere, but then I spent 2 hours trying to find it again because I was hunting all this other stuff down, and I skipped over it because I knew mine was okay. And when I went back to look for it, realizing that no one else sold it separately, well, guess what? I could not find it again. So I'll keep hunting that down. So the side cover that eliminates the reservoir was 20 bucks, which I got for 17. And then I bought two air outlet adapters, one for now, one for later. They were $11. I got two of them. So the reservoir, I don't know how much I paid for that. That was on another website where I originally bought the machine. That's all they had. So now I'm going to show you, I said I was going to show you how to reboot and get into the menu if you wanted to change your settings. And what you do is you press the home key. Of course, you power it on, you press the home key and the button down at the same time. 1, 2, 3, and that is the clinical menu. I don't do the sleep report, and I don't even have a card in there. So, oops. Settings, gonna learn how to use this thing. See, I'm at 12. I'm using a mask. I don't have any ramp time. I like to go right to the pressure. And let's see. So home therapy. Mode CPAP, set pressure. Yep, I can set the pressure. Yep, sure can. Alright, I'll just leave it at 12. No big deal. Okay, so I took my CPAP machine apart because I watched some videos on YouTube. Anyway, there's many reasons I took it apart. But the main reason was I had a So Clean, you know, it uses the ozone to clean the machine, and what I discovered was an absolute mess. You can see how black it is. Over there on the right, I used my finger to swipe it out. I mean, it is just vicious. The filter isn't falling apart, but it is green, which is one of the things that I've seen on different websites that only talk about the fight between So Clean and ResMed. So this is kind of ruined. My turbine fan is all black inside. It is black as black can be. It is absolutely ridiculous. And it's glued together, so to take it apart would be a destructive thing. I mean, I can take it apart and clean it and put it back together. I can also flood it with alcohol and other cleaners. I'm not worried about ruining the motor. I can get it all dried out. But I have one on order. It's $90 on Amazing's website, so I just ordered a new one. And it's overnighted too, so be here tomorrow. So what a mess. I mean, I can just see so much black in there, and it was on my mask. My mask has a little filter on it to keep it from whistling when it exhausts, and you know, the exhaust ports would be black all the time, and I thought, what the heck is going on with that? So now I know. Now there are two parts. Actually, there's many parts you can't really buy online or anywhere else I can think of. I don't know if any of the stores would have them, but this filter, which I actually have some of this material, you know, from different projects and leftover, but I don't even know if I'm going to put anything in there. If you look around and you watch all these disassembly videos and everything, you don't see anybody talking about putting the filter back in, even taking it out. I've seen it actually not talked about on Disassembly. Someone say, hey, this is how you take your CPAP machine apart. And they pull this cover off, and ooh, nothing there, abracadabra, it's missing. The other thing that is missing that I cannot find anywhere is this seal. Now this seal goes between the motor casing and the machine. Actually, it goes in this way. And I didn't really want to mess with it. It looks like it comes apart here. And I was looking to see if I could pull this off and replace it with another one or do something, but it looks like it is glued in there. It doesn't really just peel off or pop right off. So, you know, guard this with your life. Unbelievable. Alright, let me clean and see how I do with reassembly. Also, I'm going to trash the modem. I never used it, so I'm not going to stick it back in there. Never had a card in there, never went on Wi-Fi or anything like that. Alright, while we're waiting for the motor, I'm going to permanently disable the heating pad. Now I can't remove it and leave it out like I did with the modem, because there'll be a big hole right here. So what I'm going to do is pull the wire through and just keep it coiled in. You can see there are standoffs here, so there's plenty of room when I put the plate back on to keep this in there. Alright, and like I said, I'm just going to put it back. So, like so. I need to get this guy back in here. Like that. Get all of the wires away from the seal. Reassemble. It's a little cutout here. It's not a rectangular piece, so it only goes on one way. You screw it down. Make sure my screwdriver's going in the correct direction. Screw a couple on camera, screw a couple off camera. And just real quick, destroy my machine. Real quick, show you that it's back in place, but it is disconnected. I'm not going to plug it back into the main board. It goes right there. Now, if I receive an error message, I'll edit this out. If I don't receive an error message, I'll leave it in. Alright, I'm not going to show you every single little detail for reassembly. You know, this guy goes in here, you know, this part that I want to replace but can't find anywhere on the planet. So that goes in there. And then all these little piece parts and everything. You know, I'm just going to assemble the motor back into the case and reassemble is what I'm going to do. Alright, I was able to find some foam to replace this with. I'm just going to trace it out, cut it out, and stick this foam in there. And I'm not worried about it not being certified medical or whatever, food grade. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, through the magic of editing, I have the new motor. And here's a ResMed motor installation video, so I can go on YouTube and watch how to install it. But I think I got it. Here's the new one. A little Ziploc bag here. And whoa, what a difference! One is clear and one is not. So I thought, well, that's black, so you can't even see if it turns black. But the white one I cleaned out with a lot of alcohol. But I think what I'm going to do with this guy is make a separate video. I'm going to go ahead and break this open and take a look inside, even though I've kind of washed it out. So I am going to install the new motor into the motor mount and put this back together. There are a ton of videos on how to do that on YouTube. So, and I did make my little filter thingy right here, so that's brand new to be used. And I'm going to get this together here. So let me get the camera out of the way. Like I said, there's a ton of videos on how to do this that will be much better than I can do. This video is getting long anyway, so let me, through the magic of editing, get this thing assembled and see where we're at. So here's the motor all assembled, and the only other little tips and tricks that I would suggest, I marked both pieces, the housing and this clear plastic piece, and then I taped it down, and then I taped the wiring to kind of help hold it in place while I maneuver it into position. Then I have a screw on this, but I'll take the screw out, flip it up, plug it in, put it back together. Okay, the only funny business is you need to slide it on the bottom. There's a little tray, a little T-bar. Need to slide it over there. Need to make sure your connections up here are set. Need to make sure your top screw is set. Notice there's a gap down here for the bottom screws. That's deliberate. Then you also tuck your wires in, And don't forget, I'm not plugging the modem back in, so the modem would plug in right here if you're going to reassemble it like you found it. Alright, moving on. Oh, make sure that the end was pulled out of the motor mount housing and was pressed up against this part here that is impossible to replace. Whoops, I gotta put the side cover on before I can lock it down, and then the knob, and then the cover. Alright, so there's the side cover on. Also captures the circuit board, and it locks in at the bottom down here. Then I'll put the overall cover on, knob, face. Alright, I'll put the screws in and then the face plate. Alright, let's get some current in here, see if I'm messed up. Alright, I'm just going to turn it on. Well, that's promising. Alright, I'm going to reset it. So I'm going to press the home and the button at the same time with the power on. Did I get it? There we go. Clinical menu settings. Then I'm going to scroll down to hours. Let's see. Erase data, restore defaults. See, I've got run hours at 9,682, but this is in the About menu. And do I need to go to erase data? I'm going to go erase data and say yes. Erasing all data, please wait. Data erased, okay. Let's see what that did. No, it still says run hours, so whatever. Restore defaults, I don't want to do that. Date's correct. Everything else is fine. So if I start getting messages about the motor, you know, running out of life, then I guess I'll have to watch a YouTube video and figure out how to reset that. So I'm going to exit the clinical data, my options, ramp off, humidity off, smart, mask, nasal, tube, slimline, run mask fit, airplane off. Okay, about, what's that? Device, can't change any of this. Okay. So, let me go back to home, and there we are. So, motor replacement is done. I erased the data, but I really don't think that changed the time on the motor. So even though there's a brand new motor in there, it might think it has 9,200 hours on it or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see over time. But I do have a new motor that is much cleaner than this, and like I said, I will cut this apart on another video and see what's in there. But the So Clean is gone. The So Clean is no longer a part of my life. Thank you for watching.